How's it going, YouTube? It's Nomad TCG here, back at it again with another video. And today I'm going to bring you guys something super sick. Frost and Flame Dragon. This card is actually incredible in Edison format. Why? Let me just show you. You can discard one card to target one monster on the field, destroy that target. Any monster. So this destroys set monsters, which is a big problem in Edison format. It's also a big problem for decks like this. Caius is really good at taking care of face-down monsters. Monarchs in general are good at that, but we can do this without having to use our normal summon. So this Monarch can be saved for something a little bit more threatening. Chaos Sorcerer, extra deck monsters, opposing Caiuses, things like that. So this card's actually incredible because oftentimes with this deck, you're going to be putting up dupe block, and then you'll be able to draw into this, or you can just outright summon it, and then you just pick away your opponent's cards that they continuously set. If they just choose to summon something, then, they can't attack because you have dupe block. So either way, if they are forced into setting monsters, you're going to pop them. If they summon things, it's never really going to go anywhere because you have dupe block and they can't clear your board. So let's break down the thoughts behind this deck idea because I thought it was super sick when I came up with it. I've always liked this card. Fun fact, back when Tactical Evolution came out, I bought some of the first edition booster packs. Well, actually, I believe my grandma bought them for me, and ended up pulling one of these. Wish I still had it, but this is a card I'm looking to pick up now for the future because I think this card's incredible in Edison format, and you can do a lot of cool deck ideas with this. Expect to see more versions of frogs that have fire cards in them because I really want to continue to play with this deck. This is probably going to be one of my signature decks just because it's such a cool idea. Without further ado, I'm going to explain the deck, get into some of the choices and thought process behind it, and then show you guys at least one replay. We have our frog engine. So triple swap frog, triple substitute, double dupe frog, double treeborn frog. This is standard at this point. We all know what these cards do. Then we got for monarchs, triple Caius and double Thestalos. Thestalos is really solid. You can get rid of your opponent's Gores in hand. You can get rid of their boss monsters they've been saving. You can get rid of their Caiuses, things like that. It is a fire monarch, so that is why we chose to play it in this deck over something like, say Ryza or anything else. Now, why I have to play this simply because, you need more fire cards in the deck, but I do think that Ryza is a better card, but for the reason of this deck build, that's why we're playing this. We're playing double Lone Fire. This card is also coincidentally fire, and it works really well with our Dandelion and our Titanial. We're playing triple Volcanic Shell. This is another fire monster that replaces itself. It's also a level 1, which will come in handy with some more of the cards that we play in this deck. Of course, our 3 Frost and Flame Dragon, and then this card right here, Quick Draw Synchron. We kind of play cards that work really well with Quick Draw. So this deck is kind of like a Quick Draw frog deck, and then this is kind of our boss monster of the deck. So Quick Draw works well with Shell. If you open these two, you pitch, the Shell. For the Quick Draw, you pay 500, search another, normal summon it, make Drill Warrior, pay 500 again to get Shell, and then you can discard that Shell to banish your Drill Warrior. So you keep these guys, basically you go through all 3 in a way to put up a free Drill Warrior. We got the double Dandelion. This is also probably the best card to discard off of Quick Draw Synchron because you get the free tokens. So it's basically a 1-card Drill Warrior, which is incredible. So you would still have your normal summon after that point. So that's something neat. It's really nice when you open something like Quick Draw Dandy with like Swap Frog or Substitute, because then you're getting your frogs online and you're doing this. The Quick Draw can also discard your Treeborns out of hand to get this live, which is very convenient. Then the Titanial, this card, it's big, it's beefy, it's bigger than any of the Monarchs, and it's a card you can just summon off Lone Fire. Like, honestly, as much of a brick Titanial is, it's unfortunate, but when you go turn one, you're going first and you just lone fire into this. This is such a strong play turn one. It often seems like your opponent's just turns and turns behind. Also, setting Raikou into this, like, yeah, you're gonna clear it anyway, but it's just nice. Like, you have the option to just negate it altogether, so that's convenient. This thing runs over stuff like Set Spies, which is really nice. It gets over Monarchs, like I said. You can deal with Caius and Rysas. It's just a nice card. Really enjoy this card. Especially Book of Moon is like a popular thing, and this can negate that. The fact that it tributes, I mean, even if your opponent tries to Caius it, you just tribute it and you end up destroying their Caius. So, super nice. I love this card. Gores. So, we're just playing Gores in this deck and not Tragoedia. And the reason for that is that oftentimes, if you open with a quick draw play, your Trag's never going to be that big. So, it's like kind of not worth the play. It'd just be kind of lead to awkward hands if you draw like quick draw with Dandy plus Trag, stuff like that. Or, quick draw, you have to make a quick draw play and then you have it still. Just not good synergy there. And then we play one copy of Battle Fader. Honestly, it was like between playing Battle Fader and T-Roar, but this is a level 1 monster, which is convenient. It's a body to help get this Caius or Thestalos online. And not only that, if you have like quick draw in your hand, you can summon this Fader, and then your quick draw gets specialed, and you can make Drill Warrior there. So another cool little piece of synergy there. For spells, we're playing triple Econ. I don't think I'm going to make any more Frog decks without playing at least 2 copies of this, but this card is honestly probably one of my favorite cards about the Frog deck. I've really been liking it at this ratio. It's just so powerful to steal your opponent's monster, and then not only do you get to attack with it, you can then tribute it for a Monarch. So basically they're losing 2 cards. You're going to get rid of their monster and then another monster or a back row. Especially if they if you go, tribute your Treeborn and standby, take their guy, your Treeborn comes back, then you sack their guy for Caius to banish another monster, and they're forced to use like a Bottomless or a Deep Prison on this. You literally get like 3 cards for the value of basically 1. I guess 2 theoretically, but because now you get rid of 2 monsters and a back row, like off these 2, which is crazy. And your Treeborn actually basically never gets tributed, so the cost for Econ is just fine. That's crazy. We play Brain Control and Heavy Storm, and then Foolish Burial. So this isn't a card you normally see in Frog decks, but we do play Shell and the Dandy, and then if need be, if you really haven't saw Swap Frog or Substitute yet, you can send Treeborn, which is pretty cool. You have 1-for-1. This has more targets in this type of list because you have the Treeborns, you have the Substitute, and you have Volcanic Shell, so that's convenient. I play Mystical Space Typhoon for back rows, of course, and then Scapegoat, again, summons level 1 tokens that you can use to make your Drill Warrior, and then also is just a good defensive card. And then we play Treacherous Trap Hole as the only trap card. And the reason we play this Treacherous is because we had 1 spot left in the deck, and it was like I could just go no traps, or I could just play this one, defensive card. And this card's very, very strong against a lot of decks. Really, really been enjoying this. In the side, we have triple Vanity's Fiend. This card's just good at locking your opponent out of the game, helps you win the game faster. Triple Soul Exchange. Again, you can deal with those pesky set monsters or just annoying boss monsters. We play Triple Book of Moon. This deals with like Archlord Christia, opposing Vanity's Fiends, Glad Beast, things like that. Triple Dust Tornado for the trap heavy decks, and it's something that doesn't have to stick on the board. You can use it pretty much. One thing I will say, when you're playing Dust Tornado in the Frog deck, it's something you don't ever just want to set for the heck of it. Like, you want to make sure your opponent has back row before you set this. Or like turn 1, I guess you could set it, but anything past that, if your opponent doesn't have back row up on the field, don't set this, because then you're going to lock out your spell and trap zones, and then your Treeborn's not going to come back. Trap Dust Shoot and Mind Crush. Again, these are good cards when you go first. You can pretty much gauge what your opponent has and prevent yourself from getting screwed by like Darkrum Dragon or Caius. And then, this, it's just self-explanatory. And then we play Mirror Force. Just another good generic removal card. So usually I'll side these 3 in when I'm going first. Next we have Chimera Tech in the extra deck, double Drill Warrior. We're only playing 2 quick draws, so you don't really need 3. Then Armory Arm, Catastor, Brio. Uraquizis, because it's a fire, and it's level 6, which pretty common level you can make by stealing, stuff with Econ and BrainCon. We actually don't play any other tuners besides the quick draw, so all of these synchros are made pretty much by stealing your opponent's tuners. Play Goyo, and then Junk Archer is the other card that we can make from our quick draw. This card helps us go for game. Black Rose Dragon, Colossal Fighter, Thought Ruler, Stardust, Red Dragon Archfiend, and Mistworm. So yep, those are pretty much everything that you can make with this deck. You probably could tweak the extra deck, but I think this is pretty solid for now. But yeah, guys, that is the deck. Now I am going to get into, hopefully, a couple matches for you guys. So this game is pretty interesting. I don't really understand the deck that our opponent was on. I mean, I kind of do. So our opponent starts with a set monster, set back row. We set MST and we pass, just in case that's like a Raikou. Opponent does nothing, so on our draw phase, we draw Substitoad. We're going to MST the back row. It's a D Prison, so we start with Substitoad. We summon out our Swap Frog. We dump Treeborn, and then we attack the face down, which ends up being GK Spy. Totally fine here. They get Descendant. We bounce our swap, and then we pass. So our opponent goes to battle, and they attack. I'm not going to drop Battle Fader here. I'm not threatened. Plus, if I do drop Fader here, they just Descendant, Tribute Spy to pop it. So not worth. They set a back row, we pass. And then in standby, we bring back Treeborn. Our Treeborn is going to get tributed for Caius, and then we are going to banish the Descendant. But they have Bottomless. Totally fine here. We're going to pass on that. So they summon Alias. We take 1200. Well, about to, but we drop Fader here because now we can use that as fodder to summon out Arthastalos. Plus, we don't want to take any more damage. We're already kind of low. In standby, we bring back Treeborn, but we drew Econ. And here, I probably should have saved this Econ, but I just wanted to clear the field in the case that they had a Caius of their own. So I tribute Alias for Thestalos. I'm going to rip a card out of hand. We seem to hit another Alias. They take 400, and then we're going to attack over their GK Spy. So they special Cyber here, and then they smash and ground us, so we lose Thestalos. Then they summon Chaos Sorcerers. So that was just a series of unfortunate events, because now we're going to get our Treeborn banished, which just sucks. And then they're going to run over our guy, and we pretty much have no way, unless we draw a water here, to summon like a guy to beat over Chaos Sorcerer. So we drew Heavy Storm, and I just scoop. Our opponent, I told him to show me Spy, and he wins, which he did, because that guarantees we just lose. And he goes, why? I'm like, it's pretty obvious, like I'm at 4,300. I just die. So yeah, that game was definitely like in our favor most of the time, but that Chaos Sorcerer was just so strong there. We start this game. We quick draw by discarding Treeborn, and then we summon Shell. We're going to make Drill Warrior, pay 5. We're going to search Shell, and then we use Drill Warrior, and then we pay 5 again to get our last copy. Our opponent sets a back row, sets 4 back row, insane. So we bring back Drill, we get quick draw back to hand, and then we go battle to attack. They have D Prison, totally fine. Main 2, we summon Swap Frog. They pulling the Rugged. I'll take that trade any day. Opponent sets another back row, and then in standby, we're going to bring back Treeborn. We drew MST, so we're going to MST a random one just to try to clear some guys, which we hit another Pulling the Rug, and then we summon Caius to get rid of another back row. We hit Starlight Road, totally fair. We attack for 24, they Mirror Force us, so we cleared 3 back row in 1 turn. I will take that. Opponent sets a monster, we draw Substitoad. We get Treeborn out, and then we summon Substitoad, and then we go through the frog shenanigans. And then we're going to go to Duplock here, and then we summon out Frost and Flame Dragon. And then we're able to use Frost and Flame to pop a back row, or pop a set monster. And this is what I was talking about, is like this card is just so strong against set monsters. Like, what does your opponent do? Our opponent says that's a nice tech, which it's a cool deck for sure. Opponent sets a back row, so we attack for 23, and I'm pretty sure we're just going to win this game. So our opponent special Cyber, and I'm starting to get flashbacks of the last game. Then they go normal summon Banisher. They compulse a dupe, so they get rid of Duplock. They kill the other dupe, and our dupe gets banished, so we can't get anything back because of Banisher. Then they crash the Banisher, and then main 2 they summon Chaos Sorcerer. I'm like, wow. Like at this point, I'm convinced he's playing multiple Chaos Sorcerer because he literally had like he had Cyber Dragon, Chaos Sorcerer like in 1 turn like that. And we lost to that last time, but that was probably because I just misplayed with that Econ. We summon out Quick Draw here, and then we're going to make Drill Warrior so we can kill the Chaos Sorcerer, no biggie. Main 2 we set Treacherous, pass to our opponent, they set a back row. Battle phase, we're going to kill Sidra, which happens, and then we use Drill, discarding D&D to get 2 tokens, then we pass. We draw Econ, and then our opponent just scoops it up. They know the writing's on the wall. So our hand this game is Shell, Econ, Lone Fire, Thestalos, MST so far. Opponent sets a monster. We draw Dupe Frog. We summon Lone Fire here, and then we're going to sack it off for Titanial. I usually side out 1 Lone Fire. I usually am not a fan of siding out Engine, but this deck has a really big Engine, to be honest, to make everything work. Our opponent gets another Spy, and they set it, and then they set a monster in a back row this turn. In standby, we're going to MST the back row, which is Pulling the Rug, and then we're going to quick draw our shell away. Then we get a second shell to our hand. We normal summon it. We make Drill Warrior. We pay 5 again. And then we're going to go to battle. We kill the Spy with Drill Warrior because if they have Raikou here, then we can use Titanial to sack it off. Which it was just another Spy, so they're going to get out Descendant. And then main 2, we're going to use Drill. Pass. Our opponent has Alias, and then they try to Gemini Spark, but we just use Titanial to negate it because tributing the Alias's cost, so they just won't get the draw here. We take 15, then we draw a card. We do Brain Control. Summon back the Drill. We get back Lone Fire here. And then we summon Lone Fire to get out Dandy. And then we're going to attack the Descendant. Using Drill Warrior and then passing to our opponent. They special Sidra. They tribute for Caius, so we lose our Dandy. We take 24 here. And then back to us. We get Drill Warrior. And then get back Dupe Frog. We Brain Control our opponent's Caius. And then we're going to attack for 48 altogether. And then we're able to tribute the Caius for Thestalos and rip a card out of hand. And then we use Drill and set Dust Tornado. Our opponent has Trap Dust Shoot, and then they just scoop it up. So yeah, guys, that's the deck. As you can see, Frost and Flame Dragon put in work this match. You got to see Drill Warrior put in work, and you got to see the Dupe Frog put in work, and our Monarchs. So this deck's super cool. It has a lot of different layers of play, which that's the problem with just traditional Frog Monarchs. It's like, it's so easy to predict every turn Caius, Ryza. But when it has Caius, Ryza, Caius, Thestalos, Quick Draw Synchron, then you got these Lone Fire into Titanial plays, and then you got Frost and Flame Dragon. Like, this deck is just, it has a lot of different avenues to come at you, and it's kind of hard to stop everything. So, pretty cool deck, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe all together. If you like videos like this, let me know so I can keep making these unique decks for Edison format. But other than that, Nomad out. Peace.